Of course, the Nets and Kyrie Irving in particular are very happy to be back in Brooklyn, given the atmosphere in Boston the other day. After 2 games of booze but no incidents, there was an ugly moment as Kyrie walked off the floor after Game 4, and a man in the crowd nearly struck him with a water bottle he threw. That 21-year-old was arrested and charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon.
Fans got to grow up at some point. I know that being in the house for a year and a half with the pandemic, got a lot of people on edge, got a lot of people stressed out. But when you come to these games, you got to realize, man, these men are human. You know, we not animals. We not in a circus. You coming to the game is not all about you as a fan. So have some respect for the game. Have some respect for these human beings, and have some respect for yourself. Your mother wouldn't be proud of you throwing water bottles at basketball players or spitting on players or tossing popcorn. So grow the up and enjoy the game.
People just feel very entitled out here. You know, they pay for the tickets. Great. I'm grateful that they're coming in to watch a great performance. But it's just, you know, we're not at the theater. We're not throwing tomatoes and other random stuff at the people that are performing. You know, it's too much, and it's a reflection on you know, us as a whole when you have fans acting like that.
We know how these people here are in Boston, and we know how passionate they are about Kyrie in particular. And they still upset at him. And that's no reason for them to act childish, but we don't need to speak on that. We know what it is already coming in here. Glad we got the W. Hopefully we don't got to come back here this year.
KD, Kyrie there, and unfortunately that was just one of a handful of incidents of fan aggression towards players this week, and really just stupidity, including someone throwing popcorn at Russell Westbrook in Philadelphia earlier this week. That was on Wednesday. You had a fan spitting at Trae Young in New York this year. Obviously, all these folks, when they were caught, were thrown out of those arenas. Some have already been banned. Some are facing legal situations. Last night in D.C., another fan came running out onto the floor during play, which was bizarre as much as anything. And then remember in Utah, there were a small number of fans harassing Ja Morant's family with inappropriate, even racist commentary during the Grizzlies-Jazz series. All disturbing in one way or another. And I'm curious for you, as someone who's been in these arenas this season with fans finally getting back in there, what would you like to see done about all this?
I think we talked about it earlier, you know, being banned from, you know, all these arenas and, you know, maybe, you know, other sports. I just feel like it's not okay. I feel like, you know, I think people look at athletes and they don't see us as people or as humans. And I feel like, you know, we get, you know, criticized, you know, more than average or whatever. And I feel like these actions aren't okay. I feel like you have to go one step further.
Right. Well, it's one thing to be criticized for your play, right? That sort of comes with the territory.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's another thing to be throwing things at people, to racist commentary. I mean, I don't know what to do about it. That's when I've talked to folks about this. You know, you're talking about a tiny percentage of NBA fans who engage in this sort of stuff. You don't know who they are when they come into the door. You want fans in the building. You want to sell concessions. You want other people to have a good time. Is there any way to get ahead of these things?
Matt, I think I'm going to go back to what you said, which is so great. It's a tiny percentage. Most overall, the majority of fans are great. It's that tiny percentage that I would love to throw the book at, because the reason why is it could be harmful, it's unacceptable, and it's just no call for it. Most of the fans are fantastic. And we as athletes, we understand you're going to boo. We all understand you're going to cheer for your team. And
sure.
We enjoy that.
Yep.
But when it crossed the line, and obviously we've had it over the years, it's been these year bans, 2-year bans. I think it has to be lifetime. It has to be all 30 NBA teams. I hope the NFL, Major League Baseball, hockey, concerts all get together, and you start to be banned from all of these arenas. Mm-hmm. And if that doesn't work, next step, so we can get this to a situation where, you know, the cities of these arenas, and they take bigger action on these small percentage of idiots.
You know, to LA's point about fans maybe sometimes not seeing you as people on the floor, it's also easy to misunderstand what a player might feel like when something is thrown at him, or in the case of the nitwit on the floor last night, coming onto the playing surface. That could be scary. You don't know what that person is up to.
What if someone came here right now and just threw something at you?
Well, that's happened before.
Yeah.
That's the crew does that on a regular basis.
But you don't know.